Yes, guys, good evening. Can you hear me? Am I audible? ప్రొజెక్టర్ ఆన్ కాలేదా? ఆన్ చేయండి. Yes. Today we are going to discuss about practical session related to disk management. Okay? Right. So let's get started. Okay, now it's okay. Guys, can you hear me online? Online, can you hear me? Offline, projector. I hope it's good, right? So try to log in as a root user. How to create the partitions now we'll discuss. First of all, let's check how we need to check the hard disk, right? Fdisk -l. So fdisk -l is a command. So it will provide the fdisk -l is a command. So devsda is a hard disk name. It's a 40 GB hard disk, right? So total in bytes in sectors will have, right? So now we'll have two partitions, dvsda1 and sda2. dv ఏమైంది? ఏ అద్దాలు తెచ్చుకోలేదా మరి? అవునా? ఇక్కడ కూర్చోండి, ముందు కూర్చోండి అయితే. ముందు కూర్చోండి, పర్లేదు. నా అద్దాలు ఏమైనా పనికి వస్తాను చూడండి. ఏ మా అంతంత పెద్ద ఏమి లేదులేండి, నార్మల్ గానే ఉండేది. ఓకే. లేదు లేదు, నార్మల్ పవర్ 0.75 అంతే. సో స్లాష్ dev sda1 sda2. Got it, guys? So sda1 it belongs to boot. Okay, sda1 it belongs to boot, right? And sda2 it belongs to lvm. So we know SDA means it's a SATA hard disk. So in our personal laptop, maximum we'll have SATA hard disk only. Right, guys? Okay. So now what we are doing in a sense, we are trying to creating partition. Fdisk is a command. Fixed disk. Okay. Fdisk is a command. dvsda. So we need to provide the our hard disk name. To whom we need to divide the partition, that hard disk name we need to provide. So fdisk space dev sda is a hard disk name, then hit enter. Welcome to fdisk. Util Linux 2.23, there's a version, right? Changes will in a memory only and we have some information. Guys, excuse me. So let's see guys here. So fdisk hyphen L, it is going to provide the list. Fdisk space, we need to provide the device name to whom we need to do the partition, in which hard disk we need to do the partition, that hard disk name we need to provide. So you are going to get like this option, command M for help. M, it is going to print the each and every option related to fdisk. Now our target, we need to create one partition. Yes, no. So what we are doing, we need to create one partition, our target, right? So guys, first you can print the partition table with the help of P. So P to print the partition table. Got it guys? P to print the partition table. Our hard disk name is DVSDA. It's a 40 GB hard disk. So sectors, this is all sectors. I will tell you what is sector, cylinder, track, everything. Okay. So DVSDA1, SDA2, two partitions will have, right? Now we need to create the new partition, right? So for creating the new partition, N is option. N stands for add new partition. So our intention is we need to create one more partition called SDA3. N is an option, then hit enter. Guys, it's asking primary and extended. Yesterday we discussed in theory. Coming to MBR partition schema, we'll have two types of partitions. One is primary partition, another one is extended partition, right? Already we have two primary partitions. Zero extended means there is no extended partition. SDA1, SDA2 both belongs to primary. I hope you got it. SDA1 also primary, SDA2 also primary. Remember, so someone, if they're asking the question to you, what is the difference between primary and logical drive in the sense? So in primary, we can install the operating system. In logical drive, we are unable to install the operating system. Like your SSD, HDD in EBS. Who completed EBS, those people they know, right? Okay, so P means primary, E means extended. So always we need to install the operating system into primary itself only. If you doesn't have the primary partition, you are unable to install the operating system, right guys? So next one is extended. So two primaries will have, zero extended. Maximum possibilities of the partitions are 4. Already we did two partition while we try to installing the operating system along with the installation at the time itself only. Now we'll have two free space, two partitions we can create. So by default, it's showing P. P means, so you can create one more primary like that. It is probing to us P2 primary. See guys, partition number, automatically it will take 3. So possibilities 4, right? So automatically it is going to take 3 because 1, 2 will have next partition 3. If you want, you can give 3, otherwise hit enter, both are same. So now first sector, here what we need to do. What is first sector? Let's see guys here. First of all, try to understand the internal parts of our hard disk. I think we discussed yesterday, right? Internal parts of our hard disk. So internal parts, that is physical parts, will have logical parts also. Now we are going to discuss about logical parts. So HDD internal parts, already we discussed yesterday about internal parts, right? So see guys here. So this is our hard disk. Inside the hard disk, we'll have plotter and those all stuff we discussed yesterday. This is plotter, and we are going to store the data into the plotter and the spindle motor. This header, it is going to read and write the data from the plotter, right? Yes, no, this is acceleram, so aluminum case like this we discussed. In this plotter, this is actually aluminum oxide coated plotter. It's a physically, it's looking like DVD. Yes, no, but it's not a DVD. While you're trying to assigning the file system inside this plotter, few logical components it will create. I hope you got it, guys. If you are formatting the hard disk, few logical components it will create. So what kind of logical components it will create? Let's see. HDD sectors images. So this is a best image. I'll do one thing. I think this is very small. I'm going to open this image with the new tab, right? So let's see guys here. So this is an image, guys. Okay, this is an image. It's a plotter image. Okay, once if you format the hard disk, see, we'll have round circles here, right? black color round circles will have. So that is called track. That is called track. Those all logical components. Inside our plotter, we'll have those all. So this round circles are tracks. Like in old movie flashback, we are going to get round circles, right? In old movies, like the same way we'll have tracks. Those all the tracks, it got divided into multiple sectors. So this blue color part is a sector, guys. This triangle part is a sector. This is one sector, this is one sector, this is one sector, this is one sector. So like this, how many sectors will have in this 40 GB? More than 8 billion sectors will have in 40 GB. Our 40 GB hard disk having how many sectors? Those many sectors will have. So sector means simple, man. For example, so maybe you are celebrating birthday. So okay, you got a birthday cake. So round birthday cake, right, guys? Round birthday cake. If you cut into the multiple pieces, if you pick one piece, how it's looking? It's a one triangle part will have. That is called one sector. I hope you got it, guys. That is called one sector, right? We'll have multiple sectors here. See. Okay. So how we are exactly going to store the data inside the hard disk? This header, it is going to write the data into cluster wise, sector wise. What is cluster? This green color part will have, see, that is called cluster. So this is one sector. Sorry, guys. This is one track. This is another track. In between, we'll have space, right? Green color space. That is called cluster. Header, it is going to store the data. It is going to write the data cluster wise, sector wise. I hope you got it, guys. So this is one cluster. This is one sector. This is another sector. This is another sector. Cluster wise, it is going to read the data. It is going to write the data. Got it, guys? I hope you're clear. So what is that action? IOPS, input output action per second. So IO actions, it is going to read, it is going to write, it is going to delete. Those all IO actions. I hope you got it, guys. So clear. So I hope you're clear what is exactly sector. Sector means this triangle part. How we are going to define the size of our partition with the help of sector number. So for example, I need 2 GB partition. So from here to here, for example, 2 GB. We need to define from here to here. Simple, man. So you have purchased 6,000 square feet place, 6,000 square feet place, right? You'll have 6,000 square feet place. So you are trying to making 4 classrooms into the 6,000 square feet place. How you are going to make the classrooms? 4 classrooms I need. Feet 1 to, okay, 4,000. I'll simplify. 4,000 square feet will have. So 4 classrooms in 4,000 square feet. Feet 1 to 1,000. One classroom. Then next classroom, 1,001 or 1,010? 1,001 only, na? 1,001 to 2,000. Again, 2,001 to 3,000. 3,001 to 4,000. Like this, we are going to make the 4 classrooms. Like the same way, this is feet 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Till here, in between, we'll have 2 GB space. I hope you got it, guys. So this is cylinder. This is cylinder. If you are like watching vertically, so we have multiple what is that? Plotters. So simple, man, your birthday cake will have. So if you're watching like on top of angle, so that is sector. If you're watching side angle, that is cylinder. I hope you got it, right? So now let's see here. We have those many sectors, those many triangle parts into this 40 GB. So first partition, first sector, it will start from 2048. Got it, guys? In RHEL 7.0 onwards, so it will start from 2048. It's a one sector number. So it will end with 821247. For example, feet 1 to, so feet something 810 like this. Okay. In between, we'll have 400 MB space. This is 400 MB. This is for boot. While we are trying to installing the operating system, at the time we provide the 400 MB size for boot partition, right? So next partition, it will end with 8212.247, right? Always we need to start another partition with 48, right? 8212.48. So this is first sector for this partition. And this is the last sector for this partition. In between, we'll have 30 GB space. I hope you're clear, guys. This is first sector and this is the last sector. So in between, like 4,000 square feet. So here to here, we'll have 4,000 square feet. According to our requirement, we can make the classrooms. Like the same way, according to our requirement, we can create the partition in between 20482 something. Here we'll have more than 8 billion, right? I hope you're clear. Yes, no. So now first sector for this partition, this one, because it will end with 31. Always we need to start from 32. So by default, it will provide 622777632. So you should not provide anything, just hit enter, because we are considering same sector as a first sector for this partition. But last sector we need to define. So for example, we need to create the 2 GB partition. So do you know about sectors, guys? It's a bit difficult to us as a human to remember those numbers, to calculate those numbers. So that's why they introduced to us one more option. You can use size instead of sector number. If you want to can use sector numbers also, it's not a problem. But it's a bit difficult to us to understand the sector number. So that's why we are trying to providing the size plus 2 GB plus 2G plus 2G means 2 GB plus 2K means 2 KB plus 2M means 2 MB. Then hit enter. That's it. Partition 3 of Linux size 2 GB is set. P to print the partition table. See guys, SDA3 is a partition. This is a first sector and it's the last sector. So always we end with 31 and we need to start from 32 and it will end with 66471935. In between we'll have 2 GB. So first sector we need to go with default. Okay, see, we are not going to waste 10 feet, right? For example, we did feet 1 to 1000 feet one classroom. Second classroom, are you going to consider 1020? We are going to consider 1001 onwards, like the same way here also. I hope you're clear, guys. Next, N to create the new partition. Again, we got a primary and extended. See, guys, by default, it's probing to us to create extended partition. Because already we'll have 3 primary. SDA1, SDA2, it belongs to operating system. Just now we did SDA3, that is also primary. Yes, no. So 0 extended, only 1 free space will have. Now what I am doing the sense, for verification purpose, instead of creating extended, I'm going to create again one more primary forcefully. So P to create the primary partition. Usually it's probing to us to create extended. But what I am doing, I'm trying to creating primary. So first sector, we should not give anything. Last sector, again, I'm trying to defining 2 GB. Again, one more partition, it got created. Total, how many partitions will have? 4 partition. 4 are primaries only. SDA1 primary, SDA2 primary, SDA3 primary, SDA4 also primary. SDA4 also primary. 4 primaries will have. Can we create more than 4 now? We have the space. Actually, total 40 GB. From 40 GB, we utilize 30 GB for operating system. Remaining 10 GB will have. From 10 GB, we utilize 4 GB, 2. SDA3, 2 GB, SDA4, 2 GB. So remaining how much will have? 6 GB space will have free space. Let's try to create what will happen. If you try to creating the new partition, boss, you are unable to create. Okay. So if you want to create more than 4 partition, you must replace the primary partition with an extended first. Because 4 primaries already you'll have was, you are unable to create the 5th partition. So what we need to do, according to MBR partition rules, we need to create only 3 primary. Remaining space we need to convert into the extended. With the help of this extended, we are going to create the logical drives. I hope you got it. So then what we need to do, we need to delete the 4th partition. Last, how to delete? T is a option to delete. Simple, guys. P to print the P to print the partition table, right? And to create the new partition. Again, PE options will have to delete the partition D. That's it. So which partition? Fourth partition we need to delete. So let's print the partition table. So 3 partitions only will have. One partition it got deleted. Now remaining how much space will have? 8 GB space will have. Now we are trying to converting this entire 8 GB into extended. Again, N to create the new partition. Instead of P, you can give E. Then first sector, don't give anything, hit enter. Last sector also don't give anything, hit enter. Because we are trying to converting entire 8 GB into extended. So that's why. So P to print the partition table. Fourth partition, now it's an extended partition. Right, guys? With the help of extended, we can create the multiple logical drives. How many logical drives we can create? 15. ఇట్లా అన్నాను తర్వాత ఇట్లా అన్నాను మళ్ళీ ఓకే 15 logical drives we can create, right? So N to create the new partition. Now it won't ask to you PE like that. So it will create logical drive. First sector don't give anything. Last sector we are defining 2 GB size. P to print the partition table. See, guys, fifth partition more than 4. Got it, guys? 3 primary, fourth partition is extended. We are unable to store the data into the extended directly. So that's why we are trying to creating logical drives called SDA5. So inside the SDA5, we can store the data. So if you want to can create one more also. So first sector, don't give anything. Last sector, I'm defining 2 GB. See, guys, 6 partition. So depend on your hard disk size, you can create the partitions like this. I hope you're clear. Now, what we did the modification into the partition table, we need to save those modification. W to save and quit. We are back to operating system from Fdisk. I hope you're clear, guys. Yes, no? So W, we are back to our operating system. Clear, guys? So now let's check Fdisk-L. See, guys, how many partitions will have? 6 partitions will have. So after completing the partitions, what you need to do in a sense, you need to reboot the operating system. So let's see here. What it's saying? See, W, we quit, we are back to operating system. So 6 partitions will have. Those all the 6 partition kernel, it is not going to utilize now. Kernel, it is going to utilize only old partition table, 1, 2 only. Kernel, he don't know about remaining 4 partitions, right? So read this warning message, then you are going to understand. The kernel still uses the old table. The new table will be used at next reboot. Means we need to reboot the operating system. So without informing to your system administrator, if you reboot the operating system, you are going to lose the job. Really, guys, because that is server, right? That is server. It's running like many services. So if you reboot the operating system, if you reboot the mission without informing to the administrator, without informing to your seniors, so what will happen? Clients, they are going to get you. I hope you got it, right? So better to use this command called partprobe or kpartx instead of rebooting. So what is the difference between partprobe and kpartx? Partprobe is a command. It will request the kernel to update the partition table. Means it's requesting, please kernel, so try to update this partition table like this. Got it, guys? Kpartx is a command. It will inject the kernel. So you should update, man. Otherwise, I will show you like that. So commanding. So which one is the best? Tell me. Requesting is the best, right? Yes, no? So better to use partprobe. Kpartx, where we are going to use in the sense, we'll have one concept called multi-part. Okay. So multiple hard disk we are going to collect, and then we are going to deploy one single hard disk like that. At the time we need to use kpartx. So got it, guys. So at present, better to use part probe until you execute the part probe command. It is not going to use new partition table. Now it is going to use new partition table. It's a mandatory. After completing the partitions, you should execute part probe command. Part probe space, then provide the device name. So to whom we need to update. Now kernel, now it's using all the 6 partitions. We can utilize entire 6 partitions. We can store the data into the partitions. Now I'm not going to store the data into all the 6 partition. For example, I'm going to take only one, SDA3. I need to store the data into SDA3. Got it, guys. So how we need to store the data into SDA3? Yesterday we discussed, if you purchase new hard disk, so it doesn't have any file system. Like the same way, SDA3 also new partition, it doesn't have any file system. So what we need to do, we need to assign the file system. How to assign the file system? mkfs is a command. Make file system is a command, guys. mkfs-t means type. Otherwise, if you want, you can use like this also. Dot also you can use. It's not a problem. -t type. XFS is a file system. We are trying to assigning for whom? We are trying to assigning for SDA3. So first step, create the partition with fdisk command. Second step, we need to format the partition. So how to format the partition? With mkfs command. So make file system is a command. With the help of make file system, we are going to assign the file system for SDA3. Like the same way you can assign for SDA5 for SDA6, but don't assign for SDA4. That is extended. So you are unable to store the data into the extended. With the help of extended, we did 2 different logical drives. That is SDA5 and SDA6. In SDA5 and SDA6, we can store the data. So got it, guys. Then hit enter. So now we assign the file system. Now we need to verify whether the file system it got assigned or not. blkid is a command. Block ID is a command. Then dev SDA3. See? XFS file system it got assigned. Otherwise, you can use parted -l. If you want, you can use blkid. If you want, you can use parted -l, right? So go a little bit down and then you can find, see guys. So here clearly it's showing primary, 3 primaries, 1 extended, 2 logical. Clear? Right, good. So now we assign the file system, XFS file system we assign. Now we need to store the data. How you are going to store the data into SDA3? Most of the people, they're thinking like that, right? CD, DV, SDA3, right? Yes, no. In your mind, this command only you'll have. To store the data into SDA3, CD command only we need to use like. SDA3 is a file or directory? File or directory SDA3? ఆ ఎర్రర్ని చూసి కూడా మీరు చెప్పలేదంటే ఇంకా నేను ఏం చేయలేను. File or directory, guys? File, right? It's saying clearly it's not a directory. So उसको रीड करके भी आप लोग नहीं बताए बोले तो मैं कुछ भी नहीं कर पाऊंगा यार. It's not a directory. It's a block file. From the day 1 onwards, device is a block file like that we are discussing. Yes, no? Then how to store the data into SDA3? You did one partition into Windows operating system, guys. How you are going to store the data into the Windows partition? Windows having one good feature, automatically it is going to assign one drive letter. With the help of the drive letter, we are going to access this partition from this PC. Then we are going to store the data. Do we have this PC? Do we have any drive letter concept here? What we need to do, we need to provide the drive letter for this partition. Means mount point. Yes, no? So once if you're providing the mount point, then only you can store the data. how to create the mount point, which directory we are going to use to create the default mount point for any partition. Which directory, guys? Mount is a command for creating the mount point, right? So to whom we need to create the mount point? DVSDA3. Which directory we need to use to create a mount point? Online. What about online, guys? Can you hear me? All responsive. Yes, guys. వాళ్ళకి చాక్లెట్లు ఇవ్వట్లేదని రెస్పాన్స్ ఇవ్వట్లేదు అందుకని నాకు ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైంది. Yes, which directory we need to use? Upasna. Mother Mohan. Yes, guys. Which directory? /mnt is a empty directory. We are going to create the mount point for any partition like that I said while we are discussing about file system hierarchy. So you people, you are learning Linux without file system hierarchy. I don't know how you are going to survive. So without file system hierarchy, it's a bit difficult to you people to understand the Linux concepts like that. Past 1 month onwards, I'm saying to you, then you are not at all bothering. So if I'm saying something to you people, then you are not going to attend the session. So let's see here. /mnt is an empty directory, then hit enter. Then mount point, it got created. Mount is a command, then hit enter. See guys, DEVSDA3 on mnt type XFS read write permission it having. It's real time, scalable, and attributes will have. System default, all the permissions will have. System default permissions will have. Apart from mount command, if you want, you can use df space hyphen capital th. Df stands for disk free space. T stands for type. H stands for human readable format. Then see guys, SDA3 XFS file system type. So size 2 GB. Approximately we utilized 2% because of this mount point. Then we are going to store the data into MNT. CD MNT, it will work. Now create few files, for example, file 1, right? So file 1 to file 4. Then mkdir, dir 1 to dir 4. Then check the list. See guys, I hope you got it. Actually, where we did this data into MNT, but actually the data it is not going to store into MNT. The data it is going to store into DVSDA3. MNT, it will act like as a drive letter. That's it. In Windows, we'll have drive letter, right? So here there is no drive letter concept, right? So without drive letter, can we store the data? It's not possible. So that's why we used MNT as a drive letter. So we should not call drive letter here. We need to call mount point. Simple. Terminology is important, right? We are learning Linux, so we should learn terminology also. So MNT is a mount point for whom? DVSDA3. With the help of MNT, we are going to store the data into the DVSDA3. We are not going to store the data into MNT. So with the help of MNT, we are going to store the data into DVSDA3. I hope you got it, right? So now I'm going to reboot. So if you reboot the operating system, you are going to lose the mount point. So what we did now, that is temporary mount point. It's a temporary mount point. If you reboot the operating system, the mount point it is going to lose. We are not going to lose the data. We'll have the data into the DVSDA3. Just the mount point. What we did the mount point, you are going to lose the mount point. That's it. So how to create the permanent mount point? Now we are going to discuss. We need to edit one configuration file. With the help of that configuration file, we are going to. Got it, guys? Clear? Right. So we need to wait few minutes. It's rebooting. Very good, Pankaj. So, right, login into, guys, give me 1 minute. Upasana. Coming late, okay. No issues. I am also late little bit, okay. Because I'm having some water, Upasana, because of cold, okay. So I'm getting cough, that's why. So let's see, guys, here. So login as a root user. Let's check the mount point, df hyphen capital th. There is no mount point, see. Okay. I'll do one thing. Exactly. You have some doubt, right? So Imran sir, he's saying mount point, mount point. What is mount point, like that, right? Many people, they're thinking like that only. I know. Huh? So, drive letter, right? It's a drive letter. So you are a very intelligent guy. So that's why you understand. I understand. So few people will have, few poor peoples will have for them. So I'm going to teach with my directory, guys, with my own directory. Instead of using MNT, what we are doing in the sense, we are going to create one empty directory. With the help of that empty directory, we are going to create the mount point for best understanding purpose. What I'm doing this is I'm trying to creating the empty directory on top of the desktop. mkdir home student desktop, for example dir1, any name you can give, it's not a problem. One dir1 directory got created on top of the desktop. I'm going to use this dir1 to create the mount point instead of mnt. I hope you got it, guys. So mount is a command, dev sda3 home student desktop dir1, then hit enter. This is called mount point. So here we got a one small drive, right? That is mount point. Then if you open this drive, you'll have the data. See, 2 GB, 2 తెలుగులో చెప్పండి పర్లేదు, నాకు అర్థం కాదు. అలకేట్ అంటే 2 GB మొత్తము, ఇది పార్టీషన్ సైజ్ 2 GB కదా, 2 GB మొత్తం అదే సైజ్ కదా, ఇంక అలకేట్ అయ్యేది ఏంది? 4 డ్రైవ్ చేసాము, 40 GB సైజ్ మంది ఉండేది, 1 TB లేదు మన దాంట్లో, అవునా? While we are trying to installing the operating system, at the time we provided 40 GB hard disk space for this virtual machine. So from 40 GB, 30 GB we utilize for operating system. Remaining 10 GB will have. From the 10 GB, we did 2 GB partition, right? సో ఈ 2 GB అనేది ఆ 10 GB లో నుంచి తీసుకొని మనం పార్టిషన్ చేసాము, ఇందాక చేసాం కదా fdisk కమాండ్ తో, అదే. I hope you got it, guys. Clear? So now this is a mount point. It's a temporary mount point. Let's try to reboot. You're going to lose this icon. So guys, remember this icon. It's very, very important. I'm going to ask tomorrow about this icon. How it's looking? It's looking like one hard drive, hard disk, right? Remember. Then reboot. So now that icon we are going to lose. It doesn't have the icon on top of the desktop. Means the mount point it's gone. But we'll have the data. Where we'll have the data into the DVSDA3. So how to create the permanent mount point? Now we are going to discuss. With the help of one configuration file, we are going to create a mount point, right? Guys, please focus on it. Okay, you people are very intelligent people, I know. Huh? But you don't know few things. Huh? Login as a root user. Yesterday you asked one question, right? What is your name? Tapas. 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 Tapasi, hai na? All right. So let's see, guys, here. How to create the, see, there is no mount point on top of the desktop, right? How to create the permanent mount point? etc fs tab is a file, guys. File system tab. Please focus on it. You are not going to get this content from history. You need to make a note. So VIM is a editor slash etc fs tab is a file. Fs tab means file system tab. Open this file, right? Guys, this file it created by whom? Anaconda. Anaconda. Anaconda means installer. Very good. Anaconda is a installer in Linux, right? So while we try to installing the Linux operating system, at the time, this file it got created by Anaconda. So in this file, you will have the mount points for each and every directory partition. Root mount point /. Root is a one partition. This root partition mount point is a /. With the help of this /, we are going to store the data inside the root directory. Then this is boot partition /boot is a mount point. And this is home partition /home is a mount point for home. This is swap. Swap is a mount point for swap partition. Like the same way, we are going to add our own partition mount point into this file. It will become permanently. Insert, go to end of the page. Then first field DEV SDA3. If you want, you can give the partition name or otherwise partition UUID also. From where you are going to get the UUID BLK command. BLK ID is a command. With the help of BLK ID command, you are going to get the UUID. UUID stands for Universal Unique ID. So each and every device is having one universal unique ID to identify the device. Like your ID card. Like your ID card. If you want, you can give the UUID, otherwise partition name, both are same. Don't give UUID. While you are trying to copying the UUID, you are going to miss something in a sense. You are going to get the emergency mode again. So better to give partition name. Next, where we need to create the mount point. Second one, home student / desktop / dir1. So where we need to create? With the help of dir1, we need to create the mount point. We need to provide the path of the dir1. Next, file system. What kind of file system? XFS file system we assign for that. And this is permission, default permission, system default permissions. First field, partition name. Second field, mount directory path. And third field, then partition type means file system type. Then fourth field, permissions. Defaults means system default permission. If you need read only, comma RO you can keep. If you need ACL, comma ACL, but no need to provide ACLs. In old version, you need to keep ACL, but 7.0 onwards, in default itself only, we'll have ACL permissions. No need to provide ACL permission, especially here. Then this 0, this is for dumping. 0 means disable, 1 means enable. Dump means one kind of backup. So one kind of backup means backup only, dumping means, okay? So 0, we are disabling this one, dumping. Again 0, check sequence we are going to disable. So this field, dumping field, this field, check sequence field. 0 means disable, 1 means enable. Coming to check sequence, we'll have 3 options. 0, disable, 1, enable, 2, it will check later after some time. Got it, guys? Why we need to disable check sequence? If you enable the check sequence, maybe if we having the bad clusters into this SDA3 partition, our kernel, it will check the bad cluster. If we having the bad clusters, it is not going to allow into our operating system. We are going to get emergency mode. So that's why we are disabling check sequence. Excuse me, guys. So I hope you got it. Yes, no? Please make a note. Finish. Save and quit. We are back to terminal. Right, guys. So now execute mount-a command. Automatically, the mount point it will create on top of the desktop. See, mount-a. Otherwise, mount space dvsda3 also you can give, it's not a problem. So now reboot it. Let's verify whether we'll have the mount point or not. So even if you reboot the operating system, you are not going to lose the mount point. It's a permanent mount point. So like this, we are going to create the permanent mount point with the help of etcfs tab file. So clear as of now. I hope you got it, right? Good. Next, check sequence means if you are rebooting the operating system, kernel, it will check each and every partition, right? So if you enable the check sequence option, if you having any bad clusters into that particular partition, kernel, it is not going to allow into our operating system. So that's why we are going to disable the check sequence. Auto FS also we can do, but I'm not going to cover auto FS here. That is a different story. While we are discussing about NFS at the time, I will teach you. NFS we are not going to discuss here. Pankaj, see, we are not going to lose the mount point here. Auto FS is additional package. So actually to overcome few drawbacks with the help of those mount points in etcfs tab, they introduced to us Auto FS. That is a different package. I'm not going to cover anything related to Auto FS. Okay. Got it? Pankaj, you did admin course or what? You did admin course or normal basic course? Those all the Auto FS concepts I have covered into admin course itself only, not into basic. Okay, right. Okay, so let's see guys here. I hope you're clear. You are not going to lose the mount point. Then how to delete? How to delete? How to delete, guys? So first of all, log in as a root user, right? Go to VIM etc FS tab, then delete those partitions. Entry means what is that? That mount point entry. Save and quit, right? Umount is a command. Then dev sda3, right? Then mount-a, then go to fdisk devsda, then D to delete, third partition we are deleting, it got deleted. ఏమైంది స్లోగా చెప్పాలా? ఆ లైన్ ఒక డిలీట్ చేస్తే ఓన్లీ మౌంట్ పాయింట్ డిలీట్ అవుతుంది, మొత్తం పార్టిషన్ అంతా డిలీట్ కాదు. సో ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ we need to remove the entries from fs tab. See, fs tab, it's not for partition, it's for mount point. Then we need to unmount. Then we need to execute mount-a. Then we need to delete the partition. This is a proper way. Then W to save, part probe, dev, sda to update the partition table. అలా. సో అదొక లైన్ ఒక డిలీట్ చేస్తే సరిపోద్ది అనుకున్నారా? So clear? Sir, please repeat the delete partition again. So this one, man, go to FS tab. Okay. Who's Upasna? Not man, woman, I think, right? So go to etc FS tab, remove the entries from FS tab, then unmount, then mount-a. Mount-a, it is going to reset the FS tab. Then go to fdisk, delete the third partition. That's it. There is no data, there is no partition. I hope you're clear. Yes, no, Upasna? అన్మౌంటే చేసా, మళ్ళీ మౌంట్ చేయలే నేను. మీరు ఎక్కడ చూస్తున్నారు? లేదు నాన్న. మౌంట్ హైఫన్ ఏ ఇస్ a command. నేను మౌంట్ పాయింట్ క్రియేట్ చేయట్లేదు. మౌంట్ హైఫన్ ఏ మీన్స్ it will reset the fstab file. What we did the modification into the fstab file, it is going to reset. Mount hyphen a in the sense each and every mount point it will reset. అది మౌంట్ పాయింట్ క్రియేట్ చేసినట్టు కాదు. A means all. Mount hyphen a means what we have the mount points into etc fstab file, those all the mount points we are resetting. We did few modification to the etc fstab, right? So we need to save those modifications, right? We need to apply those modifications, right? So that's why mount hyphen a means each and every entry, each and every mount point it will reset. A means all. Got it? Yes, no? అమ్మా మీకు చెప్పాలంటే 2-3 కిలోలు తినేసి రావాలి నేను. డైట్లో ఉంటే సరిపోదు. ఏదో తిన్నానులేండి. మధ్యాహ్నం తినలా అన్నం నేను. లేట్ అయిపోయింది అందుకని. లేట్ అయిపోయింది. యాక్చువల్ తినేవాడిని కానీ లేట్ అయింది. ఇప్పుడు మీకు వచ్చేటప్పుడు తినేసి వస్తుంది అంతే. ఓకే రైట్, నో ఇష్యూస్. ఏం పర్లేదు, నేను తినకపోయినా చెప్పగలను, వినండి. సో యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ ఐ హోప్ యూ క్లియర్. సో డూ వీ హ్యావ్ సమ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఫర్ ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ partition? I am unable to understand. Same process. For extended partition also same అది కనిపించట్లేదు అది. సో ఓకే రైట్ గైస్. సో సేమ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఫర్ ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ ఆల్సో సేమ్. Instead of using SDA3, you can use SDA5 or SDA6. That's it. Same process only. Got it, Pankaj? ఏం మరలా ఇంకో 10 నిమిషాలు ఉంది, ఒకటి కంప్లీట్ చేసేద్దాము. రైట్. సో నెక్స్ట్ అడిషనల్ స్వాప్ పార్టీషన్. నవ్వతా, ఇది చాలా సింపుల్, ఇది ఆడుకుంటా చేసేవచ్చు ఇవంతా. ఎందుకు మీరు అంత స్ట్రెస్ తీసుకుంటా నాకు అర్థం కావట్లేదు. నా గురించి అంత ఆలోచించాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఇక్కడ ఫోకస్ చేయండి చాలు. మీ గురించి మీరు ఆలోచించుకోండి, నా గురించి అవసరం లేదు. ప్లీజ్ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ ఇట్. ఓకే. See, next concept, swap partition. Guys, I'll ask few questions. Then if you're giving the answer, definitely I'm going to give the chocolate. I need to check. Give me 1 minute. How to check the swap partition? I have, I think only one or two chocolates I have, guys. Okay. So now, ready? How to check the swap partition? How to check the swap partition? 1 minute. I'm going to close this chat box. Pankaj, he knows, so that's why. So he's going to give the answer. So yes, guys, how to check the RAM details and swap details? How to check the RAM details and swap details? At the end of the class, I'm going to have those both the chocolates. Yes, ma. Ashwini and Sandhya. మనోడు గూగుల్లో కూడా సెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నాడు లాస్ట్కి, అయినా దొరకలేదు. మనోడు గూగుల్లో కూడా సెర్చ్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఎస్ గైస్, how to check the RAM details and swap details? Already we discussed while we are discussing about file system hierarchy. This is a hint. File system hierarchy. Let's check. Free command. I didn't said free command, Pankaj. Now I am going to teach. No, I didn't said about top command. Proc CPU info. మీరు నాకు రిటర్న్ 2 చాక్లెట్లు ఇవ్వాలి. మొత్తం తప్ప ఆన్సర్లు చెప్తున్నారు. లెట్స్ సీ గైస్. I am going to reset this operating system. మీరు చెప్పొద్దు, నేను ఇవ్వద్దు, అనవసరంగా టైం వేస్ట్. సో ఒక్కళ్ళైనా రైట్ ఆన్సర్ చెప్తారా అంటే సో లెట్స్ see guys. Yeah, login as a root user, right? Then cat /proc meminfo is a command. Then hit enter. See, we'll have swap details, right? Go a little bit up, scroll up. You're going to get the swap details and RAM details. 2 GB RAM will have, 10 GB swap will have. This is one option. Free-m is a command. So with the help of free-m also, you are going to get the swap details and RAM details. So M means MBs, not memory card. MBs, మీరు నన్ను ఎందుకు కన్ఫ్యూజ్ చేస్తారు? M means MB, H means human readable format, G means GB, K means KB. Got it, guys? M means MBs, not memory. M means MB. So 2 GB RAM, then 10 GB swap. Okay. So now your 10 GB swap, it got utilized, it's full. Assume this. Actually, it's entire 10 GB is free now because there is no services into our operating system. That's why entire 10 GB is free. So some cases will have. So suddenly the swap partition, it got increased and then it got full. This 10 GB, it got full. Okay. So now we need to increase the swap partition size. 10 to 12 GB we need to increase. Assume this, the 10 GB it got full. Now our administrator, he said, was go ahead and increase the swap size because of performance. So we need to increase the swap partition 10 GB to 12 GB. Then how to increase additional swap partition? See guys, how much we need to increase? 2 GB, right? First of all, create one partition with 2 GB and to create the P2 and to create the new partition P primary, first sector don't give, last sector 2 GB. P to print the partition table, DV SDA3, right? Then 2 GB. Got it, guys? I hope you're clear. 2 GB partition, it got created. So what kind of partition it is? Linux partition. But what kind of partition we need? We need swap partition, right? Yes, no. We need to convert this Linux to Linux swap Solaris. T is an option to change the partition type. Third partition, then hit enter, right? Third partition, T type. So which partition type we need to change? Third partition type 3, right? So do you know the partition code? Don't know. Swap partition code, we don't know. So hex code we need. So we don't know the hex code. Use L, then hit enter. Then go little bit, scroll up. Then Linux swap will have C. 82 is a partition ID. So 82 we need to provide, then hit enter. Now it got converted from Linux to Linux swap Solaris. P to print the partition table, it became 82 ID. Before we'll have 83, now it became 82. Then swap Solaris. Adi dani swap Solaris ane antaru, right? So W to save, Pad Pro, DEV, SDA, then hit enter. SDA, not 3. Overall partition table we are updating. If you're providing SDA3, you are going to get error. आप लोग झूठ इतना रॉन्ग इतना फोर्स से बोल रहे हैं, मैं कंफ्यूज हो रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, मैं कुछ गलती कर रहा हूँ क्या बोल के? हाँ, so DV SDA only, don't give 3. If you're giving 3, you are going to get error. We need to update the entire hard disk partitions, right? So got it, guys, right? Next, what we need to do? Let's check the free-m is a command. So you are going to get the 10 GB only. Now we need to increase 10 to 12. How to increase? We did already 2 GB partition with swap Solaris ID, right? So we need to format this partition. How to format this partition? How to format this partition? MKFS, right? Don't use MKFS. MKSwap is a command. We are trying to assigning swap file system for this partition. So that's why we need to use MKSwap. Then DEV SDA3, then hit enter. Now we need to provide SDA3. Got it, guys? So how to check? BLKID is a command, then DEV SDA3, then hit enter. See, SDA3 is a swap, right, guys? So now we converted into swap. So, but we didn't activate. We need to activate as a swap partition. So swap on is a command, DEV SDA3, then hit enter. Then let's check free -m. See, guys, it became 12 now. So before we'll have 10 GB, now it became 12. If you want, you can check the status. Swap on -s is a command to know the status. We have two partition. One is DEV DM1, another one is DEV SDA3. DM1, it's by default while you are trying to installing the operating system at the time we done. So that is 10 GB partition, and this is 2 GB partition. 10 plus 2, 12. I hope you got it, guys. Now what we are doing, we are trying to rebooting the operating system. What will happen? You are going to lose the additional swap partition. You'll have 10 GB, but you doesn't have 2 GB. We are going to lose the additional swap partition. So this is a temporary swap. So how to create the permanent? Same etcfs tab file. We need to open the etcfs tab file. There we need to add the entries before we did right, like the same way. To create the permanent mount point, we did few entries into the etcfs tab file, like the same way. So tomorrow LVMs, yeah, as usually, don't miss like that, I'm going to say, because so don't miss means no one they are going to attend. Emdamma? Em units? Huh? One unit is equal to అదే కదా ఇప్పుడు సెక్టార్స్ అవన్నీ చెప్పింది. ఏడన్నారు మీరు? సెక్టార్స్ సిలిండర్స్ అవన్నీ చెప్పాను కదా, దాంట్లోనే కదా అవన్నీ ఉండేది. Let's see, guys, here. Login as a root user. Let's check the free -m. Class అయిపోయిన తర్వాత అడగండి, చెప్తా ఏందని. So again it became 10 GB. So because before we did temporary swap partition, how to create the permanent? VIM etc fs tab, then go to end of the line, go to end of the line, DEV/SDA3. Guys, don't give any directory name, just you need to provide swap. Then here also file system swap, permission defaults, 0 dumping and 0 check sequence, save and quit. Same. ఫాస్ట్గా వెళ్తున్నానా? టైం అయిపోతుందని కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్గా చెప్తాను. ఓకే, పర్లేదు, అట్ట నేను రాయట్లేదు ఎందుకంటారా? సేవ్ అండ్ క్విట్, right? So now usually we need to use mount -a, right? But here swap on -a. Instead of mount -a, swap on -a, then check free -m command. Now it will become 12, right? Let's try to reboot. What will happen? Let's check. So now we are rebooting. Even if you reboot the operating system, you are not going to lose the additional swap partition. Now Pankaj, he is going to ask one question again. I know what kind of question he is going to ask, Pankaj. Sir, we don't have the file system, then what we need to do? How to increase the swap partition like that? We have the space, right? So that's why what we did, we created one partition, we convert this partition as a swap, right? But if you doesn't have the space, how you are going to increase the swap partition? Your manager, he is saying you should increase the swap partition, then how? You don't have the file system, guys. Sufficient file system you don't have. Then how you are going to increase? कुछ फाइल डिलीट करे तो आपको डिलीट कर देगा वो. समझ रहे हैं? कुछ फाइल डिलीट कर दिया तो आपको डिलीट कर देगा वो. हाँ. Yes, guys, how? Pankaj, Actually, I expected this question from you. Are you there, Pankaj? I think Pankaj is left. Simple man. Actually, we need to create one file with size. I have one partition. In this partition, I have sufficient space, but I don't have the space to create the additional partition. We have one partition. In that partition, I have space, 2 GB space I have in that partition. What I'm going to do in the sense, I'm going to create one file with 2 GB. How to create the file with 2 GB, I'm not going to teach now here. So we are going to cover in admin course. But I am going to give one small hint how to create that file with the DD command. So research about DD, then you are going to understand. So that file we need to convert as a swap in real time. Maybe if you doesn't have the sufficient file system, then you can do like this. Okay, this is related to real time. Not sure? I am sure. Okay. So let's see, guys. Yeah. So now let's check the free-m command. Still you'll have 12 GB. If you need to off, swap off DEV SDA3. Now let's check free-m. It became 10. Guys, we did permanent mount point, right? If you reboot automatically, it will become 12. Guys, can we swap off the main swap? Can we swap off the main swap? Yes, we can. Zero swap C. So it's very useful in DevOps. In DevOps, I think one tool while you try to installing, so it is going to provide one error. You'll have swap partition. You need to disable like that. At the time, you can use this command. I didn't remember, guys. I didn't remember. Kubernetes itself. I didn't remember, so that's why I said. Okay, yes, that's it now. Pankaj, right. We have to disable. Yes, exactly. I remember now. Little bit only. So actually, long back, I think before 7 years. हाँ so इसीलिए याद नहीं है कुछ टूल है DevOps में बोल के इसीलिए बोला था मैं so it will ask to disable the swap like this you can disable so if you reboot the operating system automatically you are going to get the both the swaps 10 to 12 right how to delete swap off already be done right VIM/etc fs tab delete those entries from fs tab then save then swap on -a then hit enter. Got it, guys. Swap on -a, hit enter. Then as usually, go to fdisk and delete. Got it? So fdisk, dev sda, then D to delete, third partition, it got deleted. W to save, pad probe, dev sda. That's it. There is no additional swap partition. Even if you want, you can reboot the operating system. Let's verify. You are going to get only 10 GB swap partition. So this is all about the disk management, standard partitions, and additional swap partition. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about LVMs, logical volume management. So that's it, guys. If you chocolates ఉన్నాయి ముందుకు తీసుకొని తినండి నేను తింటాను ఇది yes guys so got it yeah ఇది Linux తెలీదమ్మా, అడగండి సార్ని ఒకసారి, ఇక్కడ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అడగండి. ఎస్ గైస్, వద్దులేండి, జలుబు తీసుకోండి, మీరు తినేసేయండి. మీరిద్దరు సగం సగం తీసుకోండి అవి, ఆ చాక్లెట్. జలుబు చేసి సార్, రియల్ టైమ్ ఎల్విఎమ్స్ ఆర్ యూజ్డ్. So if you having data center, definitely LVMs they are going to use. Nowadays, most of the people they are migrating from data center to cloud, right? In cloud also we can create LVMs, you know. In cloud instances also, if you're having EC2, then you can create the LVMs in EC2 also. But maximum people they are going to use EBS, right? Maximum people they are going to use EBS volume, so elastic block storage. So that's why most of the people they are using cloud storages only nowadays. So before cloud, see, cloud hardly they introduced to us from 6 to 7 years before onwards only. Yes, no, hardly people they are using from 6 years onwards. That's it, 6 to 7 years onwards. Everything. First, maximum 6 to 7 years onwards, cloud is a popular. That's it. అంతే అప్పటి నుంచే. See, do you know the AWS history? When they introduced to us AWS cloud in 2006, when they introduced to us in India, I forgot, guys. You give me 1 minute. I'll check. చాలా రోజులు అయింది కదా చెప్పి. When they introduced to us in India, guys, GPT schema, Pankaj, instead of fdisk, you can use gdisk. That's it. Commands, options, everything is same. So it's not a big deal. Easily you can. If you need to create the GPT partition, instead of fdisk, use gdisk. That's it. In F place, you need to keep G. That's it. Give me 1 minute. I'll check. అదేదో గూగుల్లో సెర్చ్ చేయండి ఒకసారి, మర్చిపోయినా దాని ఫుల్ ఫామ్ నేను. జీపీటీ నేను నిన్న చెప్పాను, నిన్న రాలేదా మీరు? అది విషయం, నిన్న రాకపోతే మనం ఏం చేయలేము. మీరు ఇంకా జీపీటీ ఫుల్ ఫామ్ అడుగుతున్నారేమో అనుకుంటున్నా. అసలు జీపీటీ అంటేనే తెలియదు కదా, అది విషయం. నేను ఇంకా జీపీటీ ఫుల్ ఫామ్ అడుగుతున్నాడేమో మనోడు అనుకున్నా నేను. సి, first June 27, 2016 onwards in India. అప్పటిదాకా క్లౌడ్లు ఏమంత లేవు ఇండియాలో, అప్పుడు కూడా ఏం లేవు. సో 2016 అంటే ఆ ఆ 2016 తర్వాత ఒక 4-5 years తర్వాత కొంచెం పాపులర్ అయ్యి మనకు తెలిసింది క్లౌడ్ ఒకటి ఉందని. Got it, guys? So this is all about AWS cloud history. 8 years నో, అంతే. హార్డ్లీ ఒక 5 to 6 years నుంచి మనం ఎఫెక్టివ్ గా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అంతే. వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఎఫెక్టివ్లీ. సి, ఫస్ట్ క్లౌడ్ ఈజ్ AWS ఓన్లీ. దాని తర్వాత అజూర్లు, జీసీపీలు, అలీబాబాలు వచ్చినాయి. ఫస్ట్ ప్రైవేట్ క్లౌడ్, సారీ పబ్లిక్ క్లౌడ్, ప్రైవేట్ క్లౌడ్ కాదు. ప్రైవేట్ క్లౌడ్ చాలా ఉన్నాయి. I said before OpenStack, right? So that is private cloud, not public cloud. Private cloud చాలా ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్, ఎవరు చేయడు అనమాట. సో పబ్లిక్ క్లౌడ్ ఓన్లీ పీపుల్ దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్ నవ్ డేస్, లైక్ AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, IBM private public cloud, like this. So I hope you got it right. Okay, see you guys, see you tomorrow. Bye, take care.